Can't wait for the new Gundam card game. In this video, we're going to break down every single white card you need to know before launch, so you can build your perfect deck and dominate day one. Whether you're a veteran card game player or just a fan looking to dive into something brand new, I've got you covered. But before we jump in, please make sure to hit that subscribe button for more Gundam card updates, deck strategies, and gameplay tips. And of course, let us know your favorite cards in the comments down below. Alright, let's get into it. Starting off, we have Gundam Aerial, bit on form. I haven't watched Gundam Mercury just yet, so I'm not really sure what bit on form means. Not fully on form, kind of on form, not really sure, guys. Decent stats here, level 4, cost 2, a 3/4, lots of defense there, lots of HP. Here we have the Demi trainer. Now this is probably one of the cards that makes everyone want to play white. Cost 1, level 1, being able to start the game off with a blocker in play and being able to prevent any kind of like really starter aggression, especially any kind of 3/2s or 3/1s, being able to block those. In Bandai games, generally blocker is just really good because you just think of it as like an entire way of mitigating damage. Let's say you have no life left and you have one blocker versus one attacker, this can save you. Alright, for the pilot we have Suletta Mercury. It gets +1/+2 stats here, and ability says when it attacks and once per turn choose one of your resources and set it to active. This is going to be allowing you to be able to use that resource during your attack step, which is pretty good. So you can tap down before you go into combat and she's going to be able to at least be able to give one of your resources back. So that's kind of technical, I like that. And here's that super cute Suletta Mercury alt art here. That's pretty good. Alright guys, we have this one again. I'm not going to go over the card name again here, but it says during your main step, rest this base. All friendly linked units gain +1 attack during this turn. But being able to give +1 attack is pretty good. But I think overall, you just simply play this if you're going to be maining white color, just mainly for the fact that it's a 0/5 base. And just being able to get some kind of extra damage is alright. But overall, I think this is just okay. Now this card is pretty good. So we have a level 5, cost 4, a 4/4 in stats here with blocker. All you could be doing is running into this guy and dying to it. And it says when paired with a 4 or higher pilot, so that's pretty cool. Choose one enemy unit with 4 or less HP and return it to its owner's hand. In a way, you're essentially giving that unit back the card in hand to be able to replay it again and no longer has any damage on it. However, bouncing anything, kind of getting things out of your way is awesome. And I'm pretty sure you can constantly pair again, so you can remove the first pilot, put another one on it, and constantly keep doing this ability over and over and over. And it doesn't say anything about once per turn, so got a handful of pilots, could probably do something with that. I think this card is insane. And it's even more insane with this art. Look at that, the damage unit. Imagine this damage unit blocking you and destroying you. Like, come on. I'm not really sure why the art had to be the damage version, but that looks cool. That looks cool. I like the red background and the contrast. It just like it's going into the sun or something. It looks amazing. So we have the normal strike version with no backpack on it. This time it says when deployed, draw 1, then discard 1. Being able to filter through your deck is always a good ability in almost every card game. In this particular game, white cards benefit for cards being in the actual graveyard. Hopefully we'll get over those soon here. But here we have a 2 cost 3/3. And here we have a strike Dagger. It's kind of like the GM of this universe here. 2/2 for 3/2. 3 attack for a 2/2 is pretty good. So here we have the pilot of the strike Gundam, Kira Yamato. It says attack, choose one enemy unit. It gets -2 attack during this battle. So whenever it attacks, it just gets to choose something and make it weaker. Sometimes making enemy units just not deal damage whatsoever. So that's pretty good. If you're dealing against other white blockers, go ahead and say, hey blocker, you don't deal any damage to me, so no chip damage, none of that stuff. So that's pretty good here, but it's only when this attacks. And it also gives +2/+1. The stats are pretty decent for a level 4 1 cost pilot. And of course you kind of want, if you play white, you want all your pilots to essentially be level 4, so you can have that synergy with the strike Gundam. And here we have a command card. Now I wonder if this card was level 4, would it be considered a level 4 pilot as well? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. So we have Hawk here. So main step and action step. That's essentially main and flash from Battle Spirits, guys. Choose one enemy unit with 3 or less HP and return it to its owner's hand. So hey, that little blocker, go ahead and go back to your hand. I'm trying to win the game here. Bounce is really good here, guys. I know a lot of people kind of don't like bounce because it's not destroying the units, but it kind of disrupts your opponent's tempo. They have to replay the card again. And in this particular game here, the damage is permanent. So if something has 5 HP, you can kind of get it down to 3, and then you can bounce it to their hand. So that's pretty good. So we have the white base 3.0 here, the Archangel. Active main, only once per turn here. After you pay 2, choose one friendly unit with blocker, set it to active. It can attack during this turn. So when I first read this card, when it was first revealed, I was under the impression that there's gonna be an actual attack step, but there's actually just gonna be like your main turn. You can attack within that turn here. So essentially what you can do is you can attack with your Strike Gundam, for example, and then after that you can pay 2 in order to restand them, and so they can block during the next turn there. And here we have the perfect Strike Gundam with the entire kit on. Another 4/4 blocker here. It says when deployed, choose one enemy unit with 1 HP, return it to its opponent's hand. Now the target they can choose is not too strong. It can get rid of those pesky other blockers there. And of course, if you get anyone down to 1 HP, he's gonna be able to target that. But being able to have to kind of bounce on a strong body is pretty good in its own right. I think this card is pretty good. And here we have Gundam Aerial. Now this can't be played until level 5, but check this out. It says while there are 4 more command cards in your trash, this card in your hand costs -2. So it only costs 1 for a 3/3. This card can help delay the turns, and of course all those cards that like drawing cards and discarding cards, or when you use your command cards, it just fuels this card into costing less. This is decent. It doesn't really do much more than that other than costing less here, but being able to still use your extra resources for those actual commands is kind of what you want to do. So you don't want to play a 3/3 for 3 and not have any of those resources left over. But again, if this costs 1 and you play that Aerial on there and get that 1 back, you essentially paid nothing. You know, so that's really good. And here we have that crazy, this art art is crazy. They didn't do this type of art art for anything. I know they tried a couple different styles for the art art so far here, but I do like how that is a completely different style. Longshore Strike Gundam, they have all the versions of Strike Gundams here. Links with any kind of Earth Alliance trait here, a 3/4 blocker, so another big body blocker here. So that base is Archangel is going to be able to select plenty of our Strike Gundams for that restand. In the Darilbalde, I think I said his name completely wrong last time. I think I said it wrong this time. Let me know in the comments down below. So deploy, choose one enemy unit with 1 HP, return it to his hand. So essentially like that perfect Strike Gundam. 4 is good attack power, being able to essentially get through any of those other Strike Gundam blockers that doesn't have any kind of pilot in them. So that's pretty good. 4 attack, pretty decent. All right, for the same level and same cost here, we have a 3/3 instead. Why are there 4 more command cards in your trash? This unit gains +1/+1. So another reason to get more command cards in your trash here. So every time you draw this card, play it down. Bam, you're looking at a 4/4 for only 2. That's pretty good. And we have the normal Strike Gundam, normal base stats here, only cost 2, a 3/4 solid. It's gonna have Strike Gundam, the deck. Oh, this is new. We have an M1 Astray here. So while you have another Triple Ship Alliance unit in play, this unit gets +1 AP and blocker. So this can also have blocker. Haven't really been checking to see if there's other Triple Ship Alliance here, but Perfect Strike Gundam, he is a Triple Ship Alliance. And there's other one that just straight up Earth Alliance. So definitely got to keep that in mind here. And here we have Mr. Jeturk here, giving +1/+1 stats, a pilot card that says active during your main step. Once per turn, if your opponent has 8 or more cards in their hand, set this unit as active. It can attack during this turn. So just being able to constantly being able to restand for free, that's pretty good, but the detriment is your opponent has to have 8 or more cards in your hand. Now in this game, it can be kind of hard because unless your opponent is constantly drawing cards and constantly recycling, they're probably going to be losing cards. But the whole thing about white is they can get the bounce cards and get your opponent back to 8 cards, you know, so that could be a thing. So there's no cards right now that says more, you know, both players get to draw the same amount of cards, like both players draw 2 cards or something like that. Where the detriment is you get to draw cards, yeah, sure, but your opponent also gets to draw 2 cards, but it can also fuel effects like this. This is one of those effects where I think this is, you probably got to keep this card in your back of your mind here. So when new sets comes out, when it comes to those kind of effects and more bounce effects or more your opponent drawing effects, or while your opponent gets more draw effects, this card will get stronger over time. But I think overall to start, this is one of those, it may not happen as much as you wish it could. The Witch and the Bride is a command card that only costs 2. It is level 5 though, but it has an amazing ability. It says main effect and during your action step, choose one of your enemy units with 5 or less HP, return it to its owner's hand. So only for a cost of 2, you can essentially almost pick any unit in the game. Any Strike Gundam essentially doesn't, even if it has a pilot, usually the pilots only give +1 HP, and you just bounce it to their hand. Just like get that out of here. So this is like one of your straight hardcore removal card. Bandai generally always puts like a really strong, at least in card games that I've been playing so far from Bandai, a really strong bounce effect in your beginning sets. Overflow and Affection. This card is going to be a staple. If you play white, you're going to play 4 of these cards. Main step, draw 2 cards, discard 1. Again, being able to filter your cards in your hand, and also if you have that secondary gameplay, if you're going to be needing a lot of command cards in your graveyard, this also fuels that. This card is excellent. And look at that, we have the Overflowing Affection auto art. Looks really good. I want to see this card in person. Just the different color aesthetic about it looks really nice. And here we have Naval Bombardment. Look at this art. She's just saying destroy them. So action step, choose 1 friendly unit with blocker. It gains 3 AP during this attack. You can kind of like scare your opponent, block with this 1/1 blocker, and then give it 3 attack power, making it a 4, knocking out almost anyone. I would play 4 of these. This is one of those battle tricks that are really fun. You can also do this during your attack step too, if you need to knock out one of those, like if they have a strong base, for example, and need to get them over. But of course, the detriment is it has to have blocker. If you run Naval Bombardment, you have to almost maximize all the blockers in the game, of course, in order to maximize this card. But quite honestly, if you're playing white, why wouldn't you? Alright guys, we're gonna go ahead and end it here. Unfortunately, Bandai did not release any of the red cards on their set here, but go ahead and be sure to like this video and of course subscribe, so when those cards are released, I'll be sure to go ahead and let you guys know, and go over all those cards, let you know what cards I think are good, what cards that I think are bad, and talk about how cool the art is, and just have a good time. Alright, be sure to check out this video here when we went over all of the blue cards, and this video right here when we go over all of the green cards if you haven't went over that before. I know life can be hard out there guys, but keep your head up, keep moving forward, and most importantly, let nothing stop you. Peace out guys.